And here's a look at the target line for Scobie. The 30-yard line would be a 47-yard field goal. He has kicked one 53, so need to penetrate down to the 29-yard line. Toefield in the backfield with Leftwich. He just does get it away. Incomplete. He tried to get Jimmy Smith, who thought he was held by Al Harris.
And Byron Leftwich is just taking a physical pounding in this first half in Green Bay. This time he's hit by Jenkins again, and look how he comes down awkwardly. He left earlier with the bad left wrist, and this has been some Green Bay pass rush, and both Byron Leftwich and Brett Favre are going to head right to the training room and have their wrists attended to, but they have spent a lot of this game on the ground.
Just getting away with it, Hansen, and it's partially blocked. It trickles out across the 50 to the Green Bay 44-yard line with 9 seconds left, and now 8 as they stop the clock and the Packers take over. Well, that puts them near midfield and a chance for Favre to unleash a long bomb and hope.
Okay, let's take a look at it here, see if we can see if somebody gets their hand on it.
Oh, low kick.
Yeah, it was kind of a low kick. From that angle, it's tough to see who might have touched it. Oh, there it is. We can see it right there. It's Leach. Yeah, Leach gets his hand on the ball.
It's been a good special teamer, rookie from East Carolina. So Favre comes out with 8 seconds and 1 timeout. Thinks they could go for a short sideline pass and then maybe go for the end zone. He's throwing into the wind. Not that that bothers the strong-armed 35-year-old out of the southern Mississippi.
Or an underthrown pass that might be able to draw a defensive penalty where you could kick it even though time expired.
And Favre goes down on the sack. Well, a rare sack of Favre, the second today and only the 11th all year. Darrell Smith got his first NFL sack last week, and gets another today.
I think Ed Hockley is telling us that there's a second left in this game. A second left in this halftime, rather, that Brett Favre signaled for a timeout with 1 second remaining.
التالي
تواصل دائم مع الأحداث.
سؤالي سيد.
على الهواء لقاءات مع رجال الفكر والفن والسياسة.
القضية الأخرى سيد أو وجهة النظر.
على الهواء جس لنبض الشارع العربي وانشغالات الرأي العام.
مشروع.
على الهواء من السبت إلى الأربعاء في 6 مساء بتوقيت غرينتش على قناة الصفوة.
Remaining in the half, and Favre, flag down. Boy, there have been a lot of flags.
False start offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
The fact that Favre would even take a timeout after the sack, that's Favre. He's still out there playing. He got a chance. Yeah, he's not going to let the clock just run out. And now apparently he says, yeah, let's go get warm. You're the one that called timeout. Brett, get back in there. You got to throw it again.
Yeah, here again, we talked about Green Bay's penalties. 4th consecutive game, and this is just halftime.
Now he's just going to take the snap, kneel down, and that's the end of the first half in frigid Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The score 14-10, Jacksonville. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Raymond's found them.
اللغة الرسمية لكرة القدم هي الأهداف.
أجمل الأهداف.
أنا شايف إنه فريق متكامل.
أفضل تحليل.
بيعجبني خلق إنه ما بيتكسبش. وشك حلو يا حسام، ده كان هداف الجماهير هناك. نستمتع بكم، نستمتع بالدوري الهولندي.
برنامج الدوري الهولندي في أسبوع كل ثلاثاء على الرياضية.
يناير على قناة سينما 1. الفيلم الاستعراضي الدنيا نعم في عرض أول. الفيلم الشيق كرامة امرأة في عرض أول وحصري. الفيلم الاجتماعي قضية الأستاذ منجد في عرض أول. على سينما 2 مرح واستعراض مع فيلم هندي في عرض أول وحصري.
Not like ordinary children, Cody.
An extraordinary little girl.
It's as if she's listening to something we can't hear or see.
With extraordinary powers.
She's special. That's why they want her. Don't let them get the little girl.
Does battle with the forces of evil.
The slaughter of the innocents, they called it.
Kim Basinger stars in Bless the Child. Wednesday at these times, new and exclusive on Super Movies.
First shutout since late November of 1993. LaDainian Tomlinson had 2 rushing touchdowns, and the Chargers have now won 8 in a row. They beat the Browns 21-0. In Kansas City, the Broncos' playoff hopes take a hit. They fall to 8-6 as the Chiefs win it 45-17. Trent Green threw for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns for Kansas City. Larry Johnson chipped in 151 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. In New York, the Jets beat Seattle 37-14 to improve to 10-4 on the year. Chad Pennington threw for 3 touchdowns. Curtis Martin ran for 2, and the Jets are 10-4. The Seahawks fall to 7-7. In Cincinnati, the Bills keep on rolling. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. They beat the Bengals 33-17. That's 5 straight victories for Buffalo. In Detroit, the Lions had a chance to tie Minnesota with 8 seconds to play in the game, but they botched the extra point snap, no kick, and they fall short. Vikings win it 28-27. In Chicago, the Houston Texans beat the Bears 24-5. 4 turnovers killed the Bears. The Texans scored 17 fourth-quarter points. And in Philadelphia, the Eagles wrap up home field advantage throughout the postseason in the NFC. They beat the Dallas Cowboys 12-7. We will be back with all the scores and the highlights of NFL action right after this.
اللغة الرسمية لكرة القدم هي الأهداف.
أجمل الأهداف.
أنا شايف إنه فريق متكامل.
أفضل تحليل.
بيعجبني خلق إنه ما بيتكسفش. وشك حلو يا حسام. ده كان هداف الجماهير هناك. نستمتع بكم، نستمتع بالدوري الهولندي.
برنامج الدوري الهولندي في أسبوع كل ثلاثاء على الرياضية.
يناير على قناة سينما 1. الفيلم الاستعراضي الدنيا نغم في عرض أول. الفيلم الشيق كرامة امرأة في عرض أول وحصري. الفيلم الاجتماعي قضية الأستاذ منجد في عرض أول. على سينما 2 مرح واستعراض مع فيلم هندي في عرض أول وحصري.
And meanwhile, Tennessee is at Oakland. Shannon?
Yeah, and here we go, baby. First and goal from the Oakland 7. Billy Bowen has been hot. The Ben Troop, 7-yard touchdown, tied this thing up 21-21.
3 seconds to play until halftime. Elsewhere, the Rams are in Arizona, and the Cardinals have Josh McCown going crazy. 15 of 20, 199 yards and a touchdown, and no, he's over 200 now. It's the Cardinals by 10, and New Orleans is at Tampa. The Bucks have Joey Galloway returning a punt for a touchdown and also catching a Brian Greasy touchdown pass. The Buccaneers lead at 14-7 in the third quarter. Earlier today, Dan, San Diego at Cleveland.
And get this, Drew Brees on the day, 4 of 6 for 85 yards, and he connects with Antonio Gates for 72 of those yards in a touchdown as the Chargers win the AFC West.
Denver and Kansas City, first and goal from the 7. Trent Green finds a streak at Eddie Kennison, 7-yard touchdown, 21-7 Chiefs. And Larry Johnson, big day, 30, 150, 2 tubs, that's 2 TDs. as they ride the Broncos 45-17.
So Chad Pennington's arm hurts, huh? I don't think so. 3 touchdowns on the day, including this 7-yarder to Santana Moss. And then 4th and goal. Sean Alexander has a chance to get the Seahawks back in the game. No fumble. Sean Ellis recovers. Jets go on and win big, 37 points in that game. And then in Cincinnati, how about John Kitna? 1 of 4 turnovers on the day for the Bengals. Takeo Spikes, former Bengal, returns it for a touchdown. 33-17 Buffalo. The route is on.
Minnesota, Detroit, 3rd and 2 from the 11. The Vikings, Mo Better Williams bounces way in the end zone, 11-yard touchdown. Harris Roy Williams, 1-yard touchdown. All we need is the PAT. PAT, we going to overtime. PAT, no, we're not going to overtime. No! 28-27 Minnesota.
David Carr, solid day, 13, 28, 220 yards and a touchdown as they beat Chicago.
Good news and bad news in Philadelphia. Right here, the bad news. Terrell Owens sprains the right ankle. X-ray's negative. They will have an MRI, but they do clinch home field advantage through the NFC playoffs as they win after Dorsey Levens takes this one in for a touchdown to beat the Cowboys. Then after the game, Andy Reid talks about his fallen star.
You know, see how the MRI goes tomorrow, but you know, the positive is that it wasn't broken, but the negative is it did swell up, and pretty good chance he won't be there for sure this week, and we'll see about the following week.
So here's a look at the NFC playoff picture. Philadelphia and Atlanta have clinched their divisions. Green Bay is in the playoffs. Seattle still struggling in the West. Minnesota and St. Louis right now leading the wild card hunt. In the AFC, Pittsburgh, New England, San Diego, and Indianapolis have all clinched their divisions. New York's Jets and the Baltimore Ravens still with the eye of the wildebeest. Thank you for joining us here on the Nextel halftime report.
Where did you get that from?
Back to Green Bay.
What is that? What was that?
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel.
He met her the night her father disappeared.
Ready for the second half. Jacksonville leading 14-10 here at Green Bay. The NFL on CBS continues after this word from your local station.
The Stars celebrate.
Night has fallen in Green Bay. Temperature falling as well, down to 9 degrees as you look at the numbers in the first half, Dan. And of course, of those fumbles, the most unusual, a lineman fumbling and Sharper picking it up, or actually scraping it away and running in for a touchdown for Green Bay.
Do you think that ball security might have been an issue with both coaches talking to their teams at halftime? The temperature has now gone below. We're down into single digits now. We're 9 degrees. The good news is the wind isn't blowing that much, but obviously very difficult to hold on to the football. And I think the team that holds on to it the best in the second half is going to win. Let's go ahead and recap the first half, and a lot of action taking place. Jimmy Smith got it started with a touchdown pass, and he had 2 of them in the first half. And Darren Sharper, as Dick talked about, so smart, knocking the ball out of Vince Monowai's hands and then picking it up, running it in to the end zone for a touchdown. But lost fumbles and penalties have been hurting both teams, but the penalties, especially the Packers, as they are continuing their string of racking up penalties in staggering numbers.
Jacksonville working against the great success Green Bay has had after December 1, especially in cold weather. 34 degrees or colder, 38-1. But the Jaguars lead, and they're 4-0 this season, leading at the half.
Well, everybody at home tracking their fantasy players. Let's go ahead and give you 30 minutes worth of numbers. You can see that both quarterbacks, it hasn't been much for Leftwich, only 67 total yards. Very effective rushing for Fred Taylor with 76 yards in the first half. And on the receiving end of things, Jimmy Smith with the 2 touchdowns, the only receiver here to get into the end zone.
Let's go down to Armin Katayan.
Well, guys, just as you said, both coaches I talked to spent a lot of time at halftime talking about all the mistakes, all the opportunities lost. Mike Sherman really bemoaning the fact that they had fumbled that time and missed that field goal. And Jack Del Rio, as he usually says, listen, we didn't come up here to be close. We came here to win this football game. And one thing he said he was talking to Ed Hockley about was he was arguing that Byron Leftwich's arm was moving forward as he understands the rule when that fumble occurred that turned into a touchdown. Dick?
All right, thanks, Harmon. Scobie's kick comes down to Robert Ferguson, and the former Texas A&M star is spun down at the 24-yard line. Well, when 34 degrees or colder, the only time Brett Favre has lost a game he started, January 2003, Packers lost to the team that drafted Favre, Atlanta, 27-7. That was the first ever home playoff loss for the Packers after 13 straight playoff victories in Green Bay. You don't get that look from Favre very often. He goes to work just inside the 25. Amon Green pushing the pile forward for 3, maybe 4 yards.
Dick, the one thing comes to mind is how poorly Green Bay played last week in the first half of their home win against Detroit, and then really came on in the last 30 minutes.
And of course, offensively, they only posted 3 points in the first half today and tonight. The touchdown coming on Sharper's very alert play, stripping the lineman of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Vince Monaway, of the ball. Monaway not knowing that that was a live ball. All day for Favre to find a receiver, and he does out of the 40. Javon Walker, and a first down.
Boy, Javon Walker does a great job of coming back to help out his quarterback, but into this breeze, watch Brett. Boy, does he put it on that ball. Look how that thing maintains its integrity. Look how low and tight that spiral is. And as he always does, he waits to the last minute, gets tripped up at the very end, but that was some throw, low and away and tight from Brett Favre.
Walker leading the Packers with 6 catches, 89 yards. Fake to Green. Favre again, complete to Walker, 7th catch of the game. First down at the Jacksonville 40.
And this is just the way they started out last week after a pretty anemic first half offensively. Brett Favre came out throwing the ball all over the field against the Lions. And again, the go-to guy, Javon Walker. Rashean Mathis, the corner, who's had a good first half, has played very well. But the big guy, it's apparent now, in just his 3rd year, he is the go-to guy for number 4.
Walker played 3 years in minor league baseball as an outfielder for the Florida Marlins. You see those great hands of his, even in the cold weather. Now it's Green plowing for 5 to the 35.
Well, you think you can tell this Jackson. The ball was down on the ground. It looked to me, though, like he was down, although, again, I didn't hear a whistle.
We've heard a whistle after the play, and now time called by Hockley, the referee.
It appears to be a little confused where he's going. I was going to say, can you tell this Jacksonville team is coached by a linebacker the way they go after the ball?
Green Bay recovered. It's 2nd down.
It was a fumble, the 3rd by Amon Green in the game. He lost the other 2.
Well, let's take he takes a really hard hit. He still has the ball, That's not a fumble. Amon Green looked like he still had control of that football as he was headed, and his elbow hit the ground and the ball came loose. That's down by contact. Doesn't matter. Green Bay kept possession.
2nd and 5. Favre, quick toss, complete. Tight end Ben Steele wrestled down after a gain of 2 by Darrell Smith. Smith emerging as a solid outside backer, rookie from Georgia Tech. Made a couple of big plays, fumble recovery, and a sack in the first half. 7 in a row completed by Favre now, and he looks at 3rd down and 2. Favre in the huddle, he saw the mass substitution sent in by Del Rio. Davenport and Lucci, the running tandem. Fake to Davenport. Long throw to the end zone. Driver, touchdown. Donald Driver. His 8th of the year, and Green Bay reclaims the lead.
Well, a really simple pattern. Only one wide receiver. Donald Driver split out to the left. He's the only guy split away from the formation, and somehow Jacksonville allows him to get behind the safeties. You can see Deion Grant, the free safety, a good 5 yards in front of Donald Driver.
Now, even though Favre's pass was short, he was so far behind the secondary. Driver able to roll in for the touchdown. So 76 yards in 6 plays to open the second half. And Green Bay back in front. Try for point by Longwell. And he just skids it through. 3 minutes and 16 seconds into the second half. Green Bay 17, Jacksonville 14.
It's a standing ovation for a January full of sports on Orbit. Crowds are lining up for the extravaganza of college football's Bowl Week. The protagonists of the Saudi League will receive a warm welcome. The arenas will be roaring for the challenge of the NFL playoffs. It's a sold-out show for all the action of the French League. More cheers are on the way for the frequent flyers of the NBA. The Dutch League must add extra seats by popular demand. Orbit in January, bringing you a world of sports.
بداية رنا كانت بتمثيل حبها الأول.
كان عندي فرصة أعمل وركشوب تياتر وكذا ليفل تبع الأكتر ستوديو يعني.
لا معي حق. معك حق.
هو الفيلم أنا كان كتير بيهمني يكون فيه إيموشن. الواحد وقت يحضر ويحس شيء.
وكانت رنا بالتالي أكثر مشتركة كرمت هالسنة.
كلاكات الأربعاء في الأوقات التالية على قناة فن.
اللغة الرسمية لكرة القدم هي الأهداف.
أجمل الأهداف.
أنا شايف إنه فريق متكامل.
أفضل تحليل.
بيعجبني خلق إنه ما بيتكسفش. وشك حلو يا حسام. ده كان هداف الجماهير هناك. نستمتع بكم، نستمتع بالدوري الهولندي.
برنامج الدوري الهولندي في أسبوع كل ثلاثاء على الرياضية.
Brett Favre comes out red hot here in the third quarter. 76 yards and 6 quick plays. He's completed 4 out of 4 on that drive. He completed the last 4 of the first half, 8 in a row for Favre, and the kick comes down to Greg Jones. And Jones up to the 35 to 36-yard line. The Packers back in front, 17-14, and Donald Driver, he knows how to leap. High jump 7 feet 6.5 inches in college.
اللغة الرسمية لكرة القدم هي الأهداف.
أجمل الأهداف.
أنا شايف إنه فريق متكامل.
أفضل تحليل.
بيعجبني خلق إنه ما بيتكسفش. وشك حلو يا حسام. ده كان هداف الجماهير هناك. نستمتع بكم، نستمتع بالدوري الهولندي.
برنامج الدوري الهولندي في أسبوع كل ثلاثاء على الرياضية.
وضع الشؤون العالمية في نصابها هو من صميم عملنا. الأخبار العالمية، التقارير الخاصة من صحفيين ذوي خبرة ومصداقية.
NBC's chief science correspondent.
Tell me what the best awful means.
التركيز على مواضيع الساعة التي تشغل العالم. تقديم صورة كاملة للشؤون الراهنة. هناك طرق عديدة للحصول على المعلومات، ولكن قناة واحدة تضعكم في الصورة الكاملة. أوربت نيوز في 2005 أكثر من قناة إخبارية.
Once a year, you can take the chance to feel the beat and follow the rhythm. There's There's no standing room available, so take a seat and enjoy it. It's the Party in the Park from London, Thursday at these times on Hollywood.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL.
Green Bay back in front to the delight of this big crowd at Lambeau Stadium. Sold out again, 72,000 plus from the 35. Left witch to Taylor, and Taylor for only a couple, and Campman and Jackson on the defensive right side of that Packer line stuff.
You want to see a great call by Green Bay. Look at the heavy formation there. Look at the big heavy formation they're in over here. They're in the eye. It's 3rd and 2. Over here is Donald Driver all by himself, and Deion Grant right here. Watch him bite. Watch him bite on this play fake. And Donald Driver over the top, a brilliant call on 3rd and 2, all or nothing.
Left witch on 2nd and 9. Wide open downfield, complete to Smith again. And Smith, how he works his way open against Sharper this time, and a first down at the Green Bay 38. 2 touchdowns for Smith, and now a big gainer on that play, 26 yards.
Well, Jimmy Smith at 35 still demands respect from defenses. Again, this started with no pass rush whatsoever. It allows Jimmy Smith to run a pattern starting at the middle of the field and then breaking all the way over to the sideline against the Green Bay zone. Somebody from the Green Bay front 4 has got to put some pressure on Byron Leftwich.
That's the 16th catch of 25 yards or more by Smith this year. Among the league leaders. There's a throw to the sideline and incomplete as Smith again was the target. Al Harris on single coverage.
Well, the quarterbacks have had better protection here in the second half, but in the first half, it has been a tough go. Byron Leftwich right there. He got hurt. He injured his left wrist. And again, hit from behind, the very controversial play. And Brett Favre has been taking his hits on the other side. Brett Favre injured his left wrist. You see how much pain he was in on the Green Bay sideline. Now it's been a little better ride for these guys so far here early in the second half, but they both took a whooping in the first half.
Favre with more yardage with a couple of touchdowns, and here's Taylor streaking at the 20. They won't catch him. Touchdown, Jaguars. And Taylor stuffed, and then twice he's ripped off big gains. Once through those linebackers, has the speed to outrun the secondary. 37 yards on the scoring run.
Well, Dick, props to the guys up front. I'm not sure that Fred Taylor was even touched by anybody on the Green Bay defense. Take a look at this thing coming right at you, right up the middle. Fred Taylor, a huge hole right there off the block of Brad Meester. Chris Naoli, the right guard, and not anybody from Green Bay laid a hand on Fred Taylor.
Josh Scobie adds the extra point, and Fred Taylor over 100 yards again today and over 1,000 on the season. Finally gets his second touchdown of the year.
اللغة الرسمية لكرة القدم هي الأهداف.
أجمل الأهداف.
أنا شايف إنه فريق متكامل.
أفضل تحليل.
بيعجبني خلق إنه ما بيتكسفش. وشك حلو يا حسام. ده كان هداف الجماهير هناك. نستمتع بكم، نستمتع بالدوري الهولندي.
برنامج الدوري الهولندي في أسبوع كل ثلاثاء على الرياضية.
From the writer of JAJ comes an award-winning series, a crash course in survival. Peter Benchley's Amazon. The fight for survival is Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Riyadh time on America Plus.
I think he's a very dangerous man.
Well, the grand jury has indicted Mr. Gale on murder in the second degree.
Destiny predetermined.
Tell me about the photograph.
We found his card on her body.
Fate gone awry.
Lisa is dead.
I could have stopped it.
You see, I think you came here for something else.
Could you substantiate your whereabouts for the last 12 hours, Mr. Gale?
He was here with me.
It was an accident. I swear to God, it was an accident.
What are you doing here?
You don't want to know.
Last Cry, now showing on TV Max.
Oh, you like football? This is it tonight, boys.
The NFL now airing on Orbit ESPN.
Fred Taylor capping that scoring drive with his second rushing touchdown of the season. He's rushed for 1,000 yards 5 times in his 7 years in Jacksonville, holds 34 JAG records. And the kickoff comes down to Robert Ferguson. Tackles behind at 21-17. Ferguson breaks a tackle and then gets a block on the edge. And then they have him out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Tommy Hendricks gets the tackle.
Let's go back and revisit that touchdown run by Fred Taylor. Just watch the blocking up front on this group. We're going to get a good block from Vince Monoway, the left guard, as he comes across on the trap. But again, I mentioned Meester. There's the Naoli, number 65, Mo Williams, with the turnout. And what a lot of NFC cities are finding out when they get a visit from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Fred Taylor is a heck of a running back.
114 yards today. Out of the backfield is Amon Green, and he gets about 14 out to the 43-yard line.
You have to admit, Dick, Jacksonville, one of the smaller markets in the NFL, and Fred Taylor, one of the guys, I think, who flies below the radar when it comes to running backs.
Yeah, it's tough for him to make the Pro Bowl because so few get the headlines that he creates. And now Favre brings him out of the huddle, a first down with a streak of 9 consecutive completed passes in this weather. Green on the long handoff, and he's got himself in the open and caught from behind at the 30-yard line by Dwayne Washington. Green was in front of the pack.
Well, now it's the Packers offensive line. It's their turn to respond and say, well, you want to bust the guy up the middle? We'll show you how we do it. And look at that hole that Amon Green exploits. Breaks one arm tackle, and if it wouldn't been for the fact that the speedy corner was within a couple yards of him, that would have been a Green Bay touchdown.
87 yards on 15 carries for Green, and now Favre throws underneath, incomplete, off the fingertips of William Henderson, his fullback.
It's almost like the Green Bay offensive line over there said, okay, enough publicity for these guys from Jacksonville. We'll show you what we've got.
So the string of completed passes ends at 9.
This offensive line for Green Bay, they're missing their center, Mike Flanagan, who was hurt early in the season. He's on IR. Scott Wells, the rookie, is in there playing center now. Gray Rugemer has been back. He was out for a game.
Give the Davenport in for Green, and he's smacked at the 28-yard line, but Big John Henderson. Well, it's that time of the year. Who's the NFL Coach of the Year, fans? There's a list of the top candidates. You can cast your vote at NFL.com.
You could make a valid argument for every guy on that list.
You sure could. Marty Schottenheimer's Chargers won again today to secure the AFC West. That's the biggest surprise of the group.
I can hardly get this out, Dick. Are they 11-3? Is that right?
That's right. 21-0 over Cleveland today. On third down, Favre from the shotgun. Throws underneath, complete to Walker again. Got hands on this wide receiver. Smacked hard by Deion Grant. Hangs on, first down. Yeah, that was a powerful grab.
Mike Sherman telling us that Javon Walker all season long has been credited with only one dropped pass. Take a look at the focus he has there, knowing he's going to get popped by Deion Grant, and yet he holds on to it. And there are the best receiving duos this season, and Walker and Driver for the Packers in second place behind that talented duo in St. Louis.
We're over 2,000 after today. Swing it into the flat to Chapman. Antonio Chapman to the 15-yard line in a gain of 3.
I just go back to that catch by Walker. Cold. The ball was high. He knows he's going to get hit, and yet he stayed with it and brought it in. That was sweet.
Great size, 6'3" and 215. Played his college years at Florida State. He said that two-sport star, baseball as well, had to have the good hands there.
Didn't play in a lot of this weather in Tallahassee, did he?
No, not in the Florida Marlins baseball minor leagues. And no gain there for Davenport as John Henderson just wrapped him up around the waist and pulled him home. Henderson, along with Stroud, those two big tackles, Dan, they're going to get a lot of Pro Bowl votes, aren't they?
Well, Marcus Stroud went last year, and you can make a real case for John Henderson, number 98, that he should go this year as well. And you don't, we've done several Jaguars games, and you don't sit down with opposing coaches. It's the first thing they talk about, the duo of tackles, Henderson and Stroud.
Fisher in on 3rd and 7, 3 times in the red zone, and Green Bay no touchdowns. That's unusual. This is where Favre often shines. They pick up the blitz. He flips it into the flat. Good move by Walker. 1st and goal. When he caught the ball, it wasn't enough for a 1st down, but a beautiful move inside.
And kudos to Tony Fisher, the running back, for picking up the blitz. Javon Walker split wide to the right. Look how he comes underneath his driver, clears out the defense, but then it's just the move he puts on Rasheed Mathis. And Mathis doesn't even touch him, but credit Tony Fisher, the 3rd-year guy out of Notre Dame. He made a beautiful pickup on a blitz.
9 catches, 129 yards for Walker. Gives him 79 for the year. 1st and goal from the 3. Favre. Intercepted in the end zone. What a turnabout as Rasheed Mathis. And where was Favre going with that pass? Right to Mathis. He can't believe it himself.
A designed rollout. This was moving the pocket for Brett Favre to buy him some extra time. But again, you're going to look at it from behind. What was he looking at?
It's a standing ovation for a January full of sports on Orbit. Crowds are lining up for the extravaganza of college football's Bowl Week. The protagonists of the Saudi League will receive a warm welcome. The arenas will be roaring for the challenge of the NFL playoffs. It's a sold-out show for all the action of the French League. More cheers are on the way for the frequent flyers of the NBA. The Dutch League must add extra seats by popular demand. Orbit in January, bringing you a world of sports.
Your fantasy is a refuge from reality.
Do I know you? Oh, you're sick.
It's easy to confuse the two.
I really don't like the idea of autographs.
It's the check.
This is extremely bad. But you know it's real if it hurts.
I'm the law. I ain't gotta do nothing.
What about my feelings?
I don't really care about your feelings.
Renee Zellweger is Nurse Betty. Friday at these times, new and exclusive on Super Movies. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup. With big chunks of meat and veggies, it fills you up right. And by the next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter.
Well, a remarkable turnabout, a rare Favre interception. They've also lost a fumble in the red zone 4 times inside the 20 with only a field goal to show for the effort for Green Bay. Mathis, his 3rd interception of the year. Here's Taylor. And a flag goes down. Nick Barnett made the tackle for Green Bay.
Holding offense number 83. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Let's go back and look at Brett Favre, and again, it's hard to imagine. He's looking at Bubba Franks in the back of the end zone, trying to get the ball to him, but Rasheed Mathis, rather, is underneath the entire time, and it's not like he came streaking in from one side or the other. And for some reason, he was invisible to Brett Favre, just anguished over just an unexplainable throw.
And that ends a streak of 169 passes at home without an interception. Penalty was on Todd Yoder, so from the 10, it's Leftwich, and he throws incomplete. Intended for Troy Edwards, and there's another flag. Ahmad Carroll was on the coverage, the rookie from Arkansas that they really like. He has great speed, great leaping ability.
Well, they like everything but the penalties he gets.
Number 28. The ball is placed at the
And in fact, this week, Mike Sherman had Carroll practice in boxing gloves to try to stop the holding.
He says he's in position, but he's too handsy. And right there you can see he's got his hands all over Edwards, and it's that hand fighting that he doesn't have to do. You can see that from a footwork standpoint, he was right alongside. He was in good position, but he just gets handsy, and it drives Mike Sherman wild.
Well, that bails Leftwich and Jacksonville out of a 1st and 20 at the 10-yard line. Underneath this time to Reggie Williams. Williams close to a 1st down at the 34. We go to New York.
All right, Dick, Tennessee in Oakland against the Raiders, and Kerry Collins having himself a heck of a day. From 45 yards out, he finds Doug Gabriel, and Gabriel will do the rest for the touchdown that breaks a 21 all tie. Kerry Collins has 4 TD passes on the day. The Raiders lead at 28-21, guys.
All right, thanks, Greg. 2 teams out of the playoffs, but mighty entertaining game out in the Bay Area. To the 38-yard line on 1st down. And a little flurry of activity after the whistle.
One thing about Fred Taylor that if you don't see him run very often is that you got to realize that of all the backs in football, he's in that upper echelon when it comes to a combination of speed, outright straightaway speed, quickness, but then really brute power. He's 235 pounds and at times plays even bigger than that.
And he gets to top speed in that 2nd step, as you saw in that last play.
When Fred Taylor is healthy, which he has been the last couple of years, he's everything you want in a running back.
On 2nd and 6, Taylor, and he carries tacklers close to the yardsticks. Hannibal Navies, the linebacker, was on his back.
And take a look at that, Dick, how he gets better as time goes on.
Now that's his career numbers now, almost 100-yard average per game when he gets to the cold weather. Or colder weather, depending on whether he's playing at home in Jacksonville or places like this.
And you'd think by the end of the season that a running back would be feeling the wear and tear of a long season, that his legs would be tired, but no, that's never been the career history of Fred Taylor.
Look at that average today, 8.3 a carry and a touchdown. Measuring here, it's either 1st down or 3rd and inches. That much for a 1st down. Armin?
You know, you guys are talking about Fred Taylor. This is his 46th straight game of running back, a far cry from the nickname Fragile Fred, after he missed 24 games his first 4 seasons. Remember, guys, he told us yesterday, he goes, I was more of a baby then than I am now. He said, I've just been more responsible to my football team, and I've been a tougher player.
Yes, indeed. And it's the right name to have a big game at Lambeau, isn't it? Taylor.
Yeah.
Where Jimmy Taylor owned the Tundra in the 60s. Crowd on its feet. 3rd and short. Mark Edwards, the fullback. Taylor, a tailback. And Taylor dives to the 45, and depending on the mark, looks like he made it.
Yeah, I think they're going to give it to him.
Didn't need much, and it is a first down.
Ed Hockey feeling there's not even any need to bring out the chains. A good surge by the Jacksonville offensive line. That was no doubt that he picked up that first down. You saw all the white shirts moving forward. They did a nice job of rooting Green Bay's defensive line off the ball.
It's an underrated player at center, that Brad Meester.
Yes, sir.
Meester in his 5th year out of Northern Iowa, and many feel they'll play against him. He's a Pro Bowl candidate. Oh, the flip back, and wide open is Smith, and he can't pull it in on the diving try.
Oh, and does Byron Leftwich get hit? Oh, does he hold on to that ball to the last minute, and he gets pile drive. Fred Taylor is going to take it. He's going to nice job of faking it back to Leftwich, but only one guy breaks through. Is that Barnett? That's Nick Barnett, and boy, does he put a hit on Byron Leftwich.
Barnett, who has halfback speed, sprinting in to smother Leftwich and perhaps deny another big game. Smith was wide open. To Smith again, and Al Harris is in the right position. No, this time Ernest Wilford is the receiver, and Harris right there.
And that, the crowd thinks maybe that should have been offensive interference on Ernest Wilford, who does a nice job of saving his quarterback, because Al Harris has the best position on the football of the two. Good hit by Harris. He's just running with him, but that is excellent work by Wilford going up over the top. That is not interference. He does not go through Al Harris. He elevates up over the top. Sensational play by the rookie.
Jacksonville 1 for 5 on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 10. Into the flat, incomplete to Tofield. Brandon Tofield in for Taylor. And Joey Thomas there to make the hit. So the punt team on for Jacksonville, leading by 4 late in the 3rd.